So here's one of these videos, an article that makes you wonder. It says here, watch. Buffalo police officers shove man to the ground in viral video. Buffalo, of course, is in the western region of New York, close to Niagara Falls, which is right across from Canada. So here's a picture here of the man under. Nah, you can see this is concrete. This is not even like this is not even like grass. Imagine being hitting your head in the concrete. I think it was last week. We saw one of the cops, I believe it was in Brooklyn or Manhattan, shove a young woman, and she fell. No, hitting somebody's head in the ground can result in death, even with young people. Let's see here. A viral video viewed more than 70 million times shows Buffalo, New York police officers shove a 75-year-old man to the ground, then walk by him as he lies, bleeding from the head on the pavement. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and Buffalo's mayor both released statements about the incident. This incident is wholly unjustified and utterly disgraceful, Cuomo wrote. I've spoken with Buffalo at Mayor Byron Brown, and we agree that the officers involved should be immediately suspended pending a formal investigation. Police officers must enforce, not abuse the law. The mayor, Byron W. Brown, released a statement tonight after a physical altercation between two separate groups of protesters participating in an illegal demonstration beyond the curfew. See that? Now Buffalo put a curfew, so once you go beyond that, now they use the excuse it's illegal. Maybe if they hadn't had a damn curfew, then it wouldn't be illegal. Two Buffalo police officers knocked down a 75-year-old man. I think most people can recognize, somebody who is that elderly. Would you push somebody who's 75 years old down? I wouldn't. Even if I'm the police, I'm not going to do it because you have to use critical thinking skills. That somebody who's 75 years old, what kind of a threat do they represent to you if they don't have like a weapon that can take your life, harm you? Um, and that if you do use excessive force, chances are a person that age that's elderly, chances are it could be fatal. So these are things one has to take into consideration with proper training. Obviously, they're gonna say, well, there wasn't enough training. So the victim is in stable but serious condition at CMC. Yeah, he may be stable, but sometimes you have a hematoma, which is a bleeding in the brain. So even though he could be stable, still, sometimes later on people can die. There could be bleeding there inside in the brain, and then next thing you know, the person is dead. Head injuries, people have to be very careful. Like in nursing homes, when elderly fall, there's always an incident report written because elderly people, like in nursing homes, the last thing you need is somebody falling, hitting their head. That can really result in death. So the mayor goes on to say, I was deeply disturbed by the video, as was Buffalo Police Commissioner Lockwood. Byron Lockwood. He directed an immediate investigation into the matter, and the two officers have been suspended without pay. Well, that's nice. Suspend somebody at this time without pay, especially when so many people are unemployed due to the virus. After days of peaceful protests and several meetings between myself, police leadership, and members of the community, tonight's event is disheartening. I hope to continue to build on the progress we have achieved as we work together to address racial injustice and inequity in the city of Buffalo. My thoughts are with the victim tonight. Okay. The man has not been identified, WBFO TV reported. Just about an hour ago, police officers shoved man in Niagara Square to the ground. Graphic video. The station shared this video. So let's see here. We can look at the video. The video shows officers with face shields, batons walking down the street en masse. Officers appear to shove a man wearing a mask. He then falls on the ground where he lies motionless. He's bleeding out of his ear. Someone says, but the officers keep walking. One of the officers has been identified because his name tag is visible in the video. Aaron Togalski. The man lies motionless on the pavement. Officers take another person in custody. You better get an ambulance for him, a person says. We have an EMT on scene, a man responds. According to WBFO, the incident occurred shortly after Buffalo's curfew went into effect. City police and state police swept through the area of Niagara Square, directly in front of City Hall, to clear the area where a protest was finishing. The station reported. The station said the man was unidentified, but he was 75 years old. He was shoved by two officers in the line. Wow. You have to ask yourself, the protest was finishing, but yet the police found that it was necessary to shove this man to the ground. You have to ask yourself why. The station reported the man was in serious but stable condition at an area hospital, and Buffalo police said a fifth person was arrested during a skirmish with other protesters and also charged with disorderly conduct. During that skirmish involving protesters, one person was injured when he tripped and fell. Journalist Marlene Tuskis wrote, from BPD Captain Jeff Ronaldo, Internal Affairs immediately opened an investigation into the incident, ordered by Police Commissioner Byron Lockwood. State police medics rendered aid. A source tells me the man suffered from a laceration and possibly concussion. Katie Giebers, another journalist, wrote, the gentleman has been taken away in an ambulance but appeared to be alert. Alright. Let's see here. There was a somewhat similar video earlier in Salt Lake City. That disturbing viral video shows a police officer in Salt Lake City, Utah, pushing an old man with a cane to the ground. You can watch the video here. Alright. That incident was captured on live television. A series of other intense videos also emerged from cities throughout the country as George Floyd protests and riots escalated into violence in some areas. For example, in Chicago, there was an all-out street brawl between police officers and protesters, according to this video. In Atlanta, a video caught a bicycle officer shoving a bike at a woman. Protesters threw an American flag in a river outside Trump Tower. In Chicago. In New York City, videos captured two NYPD squad cars running over protesters. Wow, things are really getting bad, huh? This other video here from WBFO. This is the video. Push the man.
He is fleeing! He's not in fear. He's not in fear. He's not here. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him medic. What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm going down. Get the fuck away. Call him back. You don't want this shit.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get back.
Better get an ambulance for him.
We have EMT on scene.
First it said that he tripped. That's what they said originally. That the man tripped. Now we find out that's not even true. Let's see here. Pushed him.
He is fleeing! He's not in fear. He's not in fear. He's not here. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him medic. What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm going down. Get the fuck away. Call him back. You don't want this shit.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get back.
Better get an ambulance for him.
We have EMT on scene.
He climbs up, the police officer climbs up the stairs and tells the person with the camera to back up, as if he's blocking traffic. You can actually see where he climbed the steps. So why does he need to back up? You know, I think what it is just seeing somebody with a camera to figure, oh, we don't want this get out there. But anyway. Now we know it's a lie. The man didn't trip. The man was pushed. And worse, the man is 75 years old. So that makes the story even more incredulous. That a young police officer, the person who pushed him is young. He looks like he's in his 20s. Would push somebody who is 75 years old. Well, I mean, he may not know he's 75 years old, but, you know. Somebody who's 75 years old most likely going to look their age, or at least around that age. You should know this person much older, and you know, you're not in a situation like life or death, or there's some kind of an exigent circumstance where you need to get that person out of the way. So, you know, so why the need to be so violent? But this is what we have going on in America currently, unfortunately. And this is not the New York City Police Department, but the Buffalo Police Department, which is up in western New York, as I said, near the Canadian border, right south of Buffalo.